Elon Musk.
Yeah, welcome.
What is going up, guys and girls, dogs, cats, whatever you are? Welcome to the video, and today I would like to show you 5 tips or tricks or secrets about music production, more on the technical side. We're not talking business in this video, maybe in our next one, but in this one we're not talking about business. Number 3 is the overall most important and game-changing for me. It was a game changer when I found out about this one. Number 5 is very important for everyone. It's something you have to keep in mind every time you make music, and so let's get right into the video. Tip number 1, space over volume. Okay, this tip is a little bit more for beginners. Essentially, I see a lot of people that just take the gain knob of their 808 and just bring it up to this high. But the issue is that when you do so, your 808 takes over the mix and it's taking a lot of space in the track, and so the rapper who is singing on the beat would not have enough space to sing, essentially. Leveling and samples over mixing and mastering. The truth is, let's take an example. If you go to, let's say, a Walmart or a grocery shop and you buy chocolate bar. The chocolate bar has a rectangular shape, okay? Like this and like this, a rectangular shape. I have a question for you. Do you care if somebody created that shape by cutting it with their own hands, or if it was a machine? Do you care? You probably don't. That's the answer, because this is something you expect when you buy a product like a chocolate bar. So, for example, when you listen to a beat, you expect a certain quality. And so to achieve that certain quality, you just need to use good samples, and you need to level your beats properly, because leveling is king in beats. I always have a rule of thumb. If I have to add 3 effects to one sound to make it sound right, then it's the wrong sample. I just have to use another plugin or another sample, because it's probably not the right one. From experience, I can tell you that this is really important, because I listened to some of my old beats from 2017, and honestly they were very good beats, but the problem is I was using wrong plugins and I was using wrong samples. And so because of my ingredients that were bad, my beat was sounding very bad. And this is the only reason why. So here we have an example of my beat called Luxury that I made in 2017 with my bad samples. And now we have an example of the same beat that I remade today in 2019 with good samples. You can hear the difference, I guess. I'm especially saying that mix and mastering doesn't matter, because there is a certain threshold of quality that you must achieve when producing beats. But then after that point, the client doesn't really care, because the truth is, I can tell you from 2 years of experience, is that people listen to beats on their phone, with their speakers, their phone, or with headphones. So if you apply a multi-band double So if you apply a parallel multi-band double compression to your kick, guess what? The people who had to buy the beat will not hear it. What I'm trying to say is that you're wasting your time, honestly, by using all these complex effects. Just try to use the best sample you can put your hands on. I personally only use samples from Cymatics and from Splice, because I know whatever samples I get from these 2 sources are honestly good, and I can work with those. So now we have the third one. Now we have the third one. This one for me, this is the biggest one. This was the most important one. And the moment I understood this thing, like my whole producing game changed. Literally like this, it changed 100%, because this is the most important thing I can tell you as a producer, is that simple beats that are easy and simple are always better than complex beats. The truth is, when you make a beat, the purpose is not to flex your production skills. It is not to show people that you know parallel multi-band compression and that you know how to EQ perfectly the lead. The purpose of a beat is to give emotion to the listener, in that case the rapper, and to inspire him so that he can purchase the beat and create a song with that beat. So the best way to achieve this is to give a certain vibe with your song. Guys, the truth is, the listener doesn't care about how many synths you put, how many presets you use, if you use a sample, if you don't use a sample, if you have 20 sound, if you have 7 sound. The listener does not care at all, because they don't have the knowledge that you have, so they cannot care about it. This is the problem that experts have, always. I think one of the best examples is Ransom from Lil Tecca. Has been produced by Nick Mira, and it has only 7 sounds. There are 7 sounds in that beat, and apparently he made the beat in 10 minutes. There is only, I think, 2 bells. You should watch the Genius video because it's very interesting when Nick Mira decomposes the beat, but there is like 2 bells, 1 kick, 1 808, a snare, an open hat, and 1 hi-hat. So like literally 7 sounds, and he made a hit with this because it has a vibe. It gives you emotion, it makes people feel a certain way, it makes people feel hyped or happy or whatever. So this is your objective as a producer. And honestly, it will make your music more successful, first of all, and it will also make your workflow a lot easier, because I remember back in the days I was making beats that were very complex, so I had to layer 15 sine waves to get a synth, but the truth is people just don't care. Oh, one last thing about this point. I spoke with a professional engineer that made a lot of platinum hits and makes a lot of, gold, platinum and all these hits. And he told me that making beats that are simple is also better for the listener, because the truth is we are producers, so we know what's going on. But for example, if the hi-hats are too complex, then it can confuse the listener. If the hi-hats goes like, it can confuse the listener. It can make their experience with a song a lot harder and just annoying, honestly. Okay, this is number 4. I think this one will help people that are a little bit more experienced in music production. I will get roasted for this one, I know. So I'm prepared. Music theory dominates. You understand, like, the dominant, the chord, so it dominates, like. No, seriously, honestly, I strongly believe that music theory is very important, because if you can understand that music is about giving vibes, then music theory allows you to replicate vibes just by snapping your fingers. I know that in my case, if I want to achieve a certain vibe, I just have to play another scale. I want to do something happy, I play the major scale. I want to do something sad, I play the minor scale. I want to do something more aggressive, harmonic minor. I want to do something very dark, Hirajoshi mode, pentatonic. Doesn't matter if it sounds complex to you or not. For another one, for example, I cannot play keyboard. I never played keyboard, but then I learned about the minor and major pentatonic scales. And after 2 minutes of reading, I was already able to play decent melodies that honestly were way better than all I have been playing. And also the truth is, for example, I started producing 3 years ago, and I have always been watching tutorials on YouTube, reading articles with resources. So after a while, you will see that a lot of information that comes out on YouTube is just recycled stuff. And honestly, to be honest, a couple of tips that you see in this video are already out there. I'm not putting out new content. And so if you watch tutorials for like 3 to 4 years, after a while you start knowing, let's say, every shortcut in FL Studio, every function in FL Studio. You start to understand how production works in a way. And so I think that at this point, what really can bring you to the next level is to understand music theory and apply it accordingly. And no, I'm not saying that music theory is something that you must know, but I am saying that if you know music theory, you can control your music a lot better. It gives you that freedom of choosing the vibe, if it makes sense. You can choose what your music sounds like, which is a big deal in my opinion. And now we have the 5th one of the most important ones for me, is that you are a music producer. So guys, very important, you are a music producer. So what does producing means? Producing means make or manufacture from components or raw materials. I think that this is very important because we are producing music. So it doesn't matter if you use samples, MIDI, samples of other songs, or if you do a collaboration, or if you have other producers making the song and you put your name behind it. I see a lot of producers get caught into things like, oh, I don't use samples, samples is for noobs, and oh, I don't collab because I don't need people. Doesn't matter. you are a music producer. You are creating something out of, let me check it. You are manufacturing something from components or raw materials. This is something you have to keep in mind always. But I hope it was helpful to you, and if you like, you can leave a comment, you can leave a like, you can subscribe or whatever, or leave a dislike if you don't like it, because it gives me feedback and I'm just looking for feedback. So wish you a good day.